This is Stephanie Wilder, live at Chifferobe Home and Garden, Black Mountain, North Carolina. It's a beautiful day in Black Mountain. The sun is shining, it's a little bit cool, it's beautiful. Après le déluge. We had this big flood the other day and the walls are still kind of wet. But we will go ahead and show you one of my very favorite things on earth, and that is pottery. I love pottery because it's so organic and natural. And one of the things that you're going to find in Black Mountain is that we love pottery in this town, but also we are very careful not to reproduce the potters from one shop to another. So the pottery I'm going to show you today that I carry here in Chifferobe, you will not see this anywhere else in Black Mountain. Now, it's all locally made, so you might bump into some of it in Asheville at the nicer galleries in town, but you're not going to find it anywhere else in Black Mountain. So let me start off with Jim McDowell. Now, Jim is actually a very well-known potter. He's an African-American man. He calls himself a black potter because guess what? He is a black potter. But his specialty are face jugs. I don't know if you can see them. Let me reach over here and get one. Try not to break it because it's, oh! So these are his face jugs, and he models these after the slave named Dave, who was a slave in South Carolina who introduced these face jugs, ugly jugs, whatever you want to call them, to the United States. And according to Jim, the slaves were not allowed to have, let me put that down, they were not allowed to have grave markers. And so they would put one of these on the graves of slaves who died. And they would also put them out in front of their houses and put herbs inside of them to scare off evil spirits. Now there's a controversy that white potters are saying, no, that's not true. These ugly jugs come from England, and that English potters made these to keep their children out of the gin, or rum rather. I don't believe that for a minute, but there you go. All right, but Jim, these are very, very expensive. This one is $600. You can buy it if you'd like, but if you don't have $600 available to you, you can buy one of these fabulous mugs that Jim makes that have those same sort of scary faces. This guy's smoking a cigar, and it's a great mug with a big handle. So if you have a person on your gift list who has big hands and likes to get his hand into the handle of a mug, this is great. It also has a little thumb place so that you can put your thumb in there to counterbalance the weight of like a giant cup of coffee. So he makes these too. You may have seen Jim on PBS last Thursday night. They did a whole show about him. And he was the focus of this show. I don't know the name of that program, but it's some new program on PBS. He's also in the Smithsonian. So he's somebody who's very famous. Now, this mug is only $45. So you can have your very own Jim McDowell face just for $45. The other thing that Jim makes are some really beautiful organic pottery pieces that are really reasonably priced and extremely well done and really, really beautiful. Now this big vase with all these wonderful colors on it is only $50. So compare that to the $600 for your face jug, and you can see that it's a real bargain. So I love Jim. I love his work. Jim is a retired Baptist minister, and he is a lovely person. He's a singer. He plays the guitar. He comes here. He brings me sweet potato pie. He's a great guy. So that's Jim McDowell. Now let me show you. Oh, here's another piece of Jim's. He calls these whiskey sippers. So you can get one of these, got a funny face on it, and these are only $45. So this makes a great gift for the whiskey drinker in your life. All right, now I'm going to move on to Andrea Freeman. Andrea is a fantastic woman. She has 2 kids who she really dotes on, a husband she loves. She works out of her basement in Asheville. But her work is just so cheerful and upbeat and wonderful. first thing I want to show you are her Maud mugs. Maud is this character, this chicken, and Maud has friends that you'll also see on these mugs. But on the back of each of these Maud mugs, here's Maud sitting on a tuffet, drinking a martini and reading. But on the back, there's a quotation from Aeneas Nin. Each of her Maud mugs has some kind of quotation on the back, and these are $30. And I can't keep these in stock. In fact, I have to call her today and get her to make me some more. All right, so that's Andrea. Now, Andrea has all these very positive sayings on the back of her Maud mugs, but I thought, you know what? I'm sort of tired sometimes of being positive. So here's this one that I inspired. All right, here's Maud. She's dead. It's a dead chicken with her feet up in the air and those little crosses on her eyes. And what it says on the back is, it's not all good. Because you know what? It's not. Life is not always perfect. Let's not go there, but you know I'm telling you the truth. So this one is inspired by me, SW. It's not all good. Today it feels like it is, though. All right, let me show you this other thing that she makes. All right, now Andrea's son, Rowan, who's a fantastic 16-year-old kid, last year developed Lyme disease, caught Lyme disease, and it took doctors forever to figure out what it was, and so he was sick as a dog for a whole year. He couldn't get out of bed. So Andrea is obsessed with ticks. Now this series that she does for our shop is a possum hanging from a tree. There are different poses for this possum. And it says on each piece, mugs and plates, I eat 4,000 ticks a week. Now who knew that possums were so good for us, but they are. All right, so you can get a possum mug. Now somebody who came into the store the other day said, I'm not so sure I want to eat dinner off a plate with a rat hanging from a branch and mention of ticks. But if you can get past that, these are really cute. And on the back, she does this lovely kind of embossed design. The other thing that Andrea does that I adore are these unique dinner plates, bowls, cups in a very Moroccan looking style. She hand paints each one. They're a little irregular, which I love, and the colors are spectacular. And each one has a different design on it. So you could get a whole set of these or just one and be really the talk of the town when you set your dinner table or hors d'oeuvre plate or whatever it is you're going to use these for. But they're fabulous. And this one is $36. So it's just a beautiful thing. All right, now let's move on to another whimsical potter whose work I really love, and that's Marla George. Now Marla is a really young beginning potter in Asheville, but she's kind of like a sculptor in a way because she puts these funny faces on her work, and they are very expressive. Now this one, and all of them are saying something. There's this little thing on the back of each one that tells you what this particular face is thinking or saying. And this one is, you're hotter than a fine cup of coffee. So you could buy one of these mugs, they're $35 each, and get a little yuck out of it every single day when you have your coffee in the morning. So that's Marla George. Marla also did this one, which I love. It's not the whole face, it's just a mouth. And on the back it says, say what? So there you have that. So I love Marla's work too. Let's see. Moving right along here, we've got Sarah Sunshine. Sarah is a Black Mountain potter. She lives right up the street. This is her signature style right here of mug. Sarah is a Buddhist. Is she a Buddhist? Yeah, I think she's a Buddhist. And she's just a hoot. She also is organizing a big craft fair we're having this Saturday here in front of the store, Art on the Tracks. So that'll be fun, but this is her work. She also does, so this is her signature, but she also does really fun things as well. I love these little demi-tasse cups, and crazy about chickens. So she has these little hors d'oeuvre plates with chickens on them because she raises chickens and she sells eggs. So that is Sarah Sunshine. Moving right along to Gwen Ottinger. Now Gwen's work is simple and the colors are just so restful and beautiful. I love this blue. So Gwen makes this little planter. She makes cups and plates and the usual stuff potters like to make. But this is something a little unusual that Gwen makes. And these are little ceramic jewelry holders. So you just put this up on the wall of your closet or bathroom or wherever you like to hang your necklaces, and you have a very pretty place to organize them and hang them up. That's Gwen Ottinger. I want to show you a potter who I have loved since I first met her when I first moved to Asheville in 2001. And her name is Melissa Weiss. And Melissa used to sell me her stuff all the time. And now she has gotten so famous. She teaches at Penland now, and she goes up to New York to the big shows, and she sells her work out. So she no longer will sell wholesale to galleries in this area. But her work is just fantastic. It's a very different type of feel than the work I've shown you before, because this stuff is just really, it looks like it was just dug out of the ground from some kind of cave. I just love it. It's very matte, and the colors are dark and moody. And Melissa is really small. She's even shorter than I am. But she has a farm in Arkansas, and she goes there and she digs up the clay. She hauls it back to Asheville, and she makes these glazes herself, and she makes these mugs here in Asheville. I still have a few of her pieces, and I love them. So come and get them fast before I take them home, because these are fantastic. So this goblet is $35, and this little condiment plate is $15. So as you can see, I have an array. These aren't even all the pottery pieces I have in the store, but these are just the ones I could gather up onto this surface. But please come in and see the whole array of pottery that I have. These are just a few examples of each of these potters. And if you want to, you can call me. My phone number is 828-669-2743, and I can package this up and send it out to you wherever you may live. But I thank you for spending time with me this morning on this beautiful sunny day. And I hope to see you soon in Chifferobe Home and Garden at 132 Cherry Street, right across from the old depot. Come into town this weekend on Saturday if you want to come to this craft show organized by Sarah Sunshine. And I hope to see you soon. I've got wine in the fridge.